I remember there was a time when we was kings and queens, prophets and rulers, judging the earth. But now we stuck at the bottom of the totem pole. Where did we go wrong as a people? I think our people need to understand this with a wake-up call and give them understanding of what's going on. So bring it.
Early morning, rise up, open your eyes up, looking in the mirror, it gets no clearer. Cause we don't understand our own selves, drowning in sorrow with empty Hennessy bottles upon the shelf. Cause everybody wanna be a king, selling out their soul for this mean green cream thing. Paper chasing, but not facing the facts that as a nation, we all done got lax and letting the devil control us. And thinking like them damn Africans, they sold us. We in captivity because they hold us. Work is hard with heavy burdens on our shoulders. Man, I thought we were some soldiers, but every second that I look.
Okay, Shalom, Israel.
Shalom.
Welcome to, man, that's the most powerful Shalom. Welcome to another class with ISBHBK. We're located here at 8524 South Braeswood in Houston, Texas. Okay, we've been out here for about, we've been out in Houston for about almost 10 years now. We've been at this location, we've been over here for about 5 years. Okay, so if y'all want to come join us for class, we have classes Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Mondays and Wednesdays from 7 to 10. And then we got Friday's class from 6 to 9, and then Shabbat morning class, which is from 10 to 2. Okay? If you brothers and sisters are local in the area, we have Purim coming up on March 9th and 10th. So we're not going to have class on the 10th, which is a Friday, because we're going to be celebrating Purim. But if you're local in the area, you want to join in, gather with us, we're going to get some eating, brotherhood, sisterhood, you can come do that. All right, and that's March 9th and 10th. We also have the Passover coming up, which is one of our important high holy days. That's coming up on the 16th, all right, April 16th. So if you want to join us for the Passover, we're going to be getting together with brothers from San Antonio, Albuquerque, whatever other states is going to come down that you brothers and sisters that watch us. It's going to be a big one. So come join us for that. All right. What else we got here? The women's, children's class. You can come check out the child's class live. Come in, bring your kids. If not, you can go on the ISBHPK Kids, and you see the sisters. It's only an hour, and what they try to do is bring it down to the children's level, but the same information. So if you want to be a part of that, you can come join us and be a partaker in that. All right. If you want to donate, help us out with the Passover, with the lamb, the location, with anything pertaining to that, or help out the school, you can donate. All the information is going to be up there on the screen. Okay? So, we're going to do like we always do. We're going to open up with questions, and then get into class. And y'all keep coming with the questions. For the most part, you see we don't have a problem with the questions, unless it gets stupid, and it's like we didn't answer that, and you're coming back, and you're trying to argue. Otherwise, we don't have no problems with questions. So y'all keep coming with the questions, and for the ones on there that are asking questions, remember, let us give them the answer. Let us teach them according to the scriptures. All right, so otherwise, we'll wait and see who has any questions, and if not, we'll go into class, which I'm sure we have a lot of questions. So we'll start out like that. Yeah.
Yes, I have a question just on the topic of, about leadership in the camp, of the reason why we have ranks.
Uh-huh.
And obviously, why we have somebody over us to lead us. Because some people can make it or could seem like we had obviously ranks when Moses' time, officers 50, hundreds, thousands. Right? But then in the New Testament, there was never seen any type of leadership, so say as in like the military.
I mean, if you want to go tit for tat, you can do that, but it's the same thing as Moses. Look up bishop. No, I'm saying look up bishop. Look up deacon. Yeah, it's the same thing. It was just these are different offices that you had in the ministry. So like I said, whether it's during Moses' time, you'll hear me say that a lot. Whether it's during Moses' time, you had officers, 50s, 100s, thousands, or the New Testament, it's still an order, it's still a body, it's still a way to function, right? So, what you got for bishop?
Bishop, another word is overseer.
There you go. Go ahead.
Originally the principal officer of the local church.
Like I said, it's just whether you want to use the Old Testament, Hebrew way to say it, or you want the new, the Greek way to say it, right? Go ahead.
It says the other being the deacon or deacons, the title elder or presbyter, generally applied to the same man. Elder referring to his age and dignity, and bishop to his work of superintendence.
There you go. So, if you wanted to add in there, is rank, it's position, right? Go to 1 Corinthians 14 and 40.
1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 40.
1 Corinthians 14, verse 40. Read that.
Come, let all things be done decently and in order.
Right. So when you deal with this so-called rank or the so-called title or so-called position, I'm saying so-called because it's whatever you want to call it at this time, right? We can use the word rank. We can use the word title. We can use the word position. You can use the word office, because it's really what we're taking on. A position, a rank, a office, a status, right? You can say, listen, you're the manager. Don't matter. It's the same thing. You're given a position and a job to do. What you was going to say?
1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 2. Now I praise you, brethren, that ye remember me in all things and keep the ordinances as I delivered them to you.
Right.
Like the ordinance is like basically the same.
The order.
Yeah, the order. Now, since the beginning, I guess. It does talk about.
You can't guess. That's what it is.
Oh, come.
Let all things be done decently in order. When we deal in the body, we deal with order. That's why he comes back in 1 Corinthians 11 and 1 and says what?
But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
Right. That's the order. So we have to fall back in order. Right? Go ahead.
And the head of the woman is the man. And the head of Christ is God.
Right. So God, Christ, man, woman, right? But then he came back and said, let me show you. Hold on 1 second. I got a few in my brain real quick. Let me write this down. He came back and said, it's in the Gospels. No, it's Matthew's 16. And 16 and start from verse 16.
Matthew chapter 16 and verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
If you say, "Come," would it be done? And Simon Peter answered and said, "Thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God."
Mm-hmm.
And Yahushua answered and said unto him, "Blessed art thou, Simon, Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood hath not revealed it unto thee,
Mm-hmm.
but my Father which is in heaven.
Right.
And I say also unto thee, that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church,
Mm-hmm.
and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it."
So he said, Peter, you're the rock, and upon this rock I'm going to build my church. So Peter, at that time, he was the head of the 12 apostles. You see? So he established an order. See, he wasn't going to leave them comfortless. So Christ dealt with order. He dealt with, once again, they were looking to him, right? When he was there. When he left, well, who was the man? Peter was the man. So, because there was an order, let all things be done decently in order, right? Go ahead, finish that.
Verse 18,
Uh-huh.
actually verse 19. "And I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven."
Right. So he's not saying that the other men weren't given that, but he was establishing order. Right? You're going to be the last word in the council. You're going to be the last cat to be able to say, you know what, let's go this way. You know, yeah, the multitude of come to their safety, but at the same time, you got to have one person to be able to say, okay, all right, you know what, I like that, you know what, let's do it this way. The Most High said, Christ was saying, you're going to be that person. Go ahead.
"And whatsoever thou shalt loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven."
Yeah. So now, now we know that, see, the Pope, they go way far with that, right? Right, they start worshiping the Pope. And that's not what Christ taught us. And that's what we don't teach. But the order is supposed to be established, right? Through the unity, through the brotherhood, right? So there was a ranking system in the New Testament. The ranking right here, even man, watch. Go to 1 Peter 5,
1 Peter chapter 5
verse 1.
and verse 1.
1 Peter 5, verse 1. Tell me when y'all got it.
Go on.
1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
"The elders which are among you I exhort,
Right?
who am also an elder,
Uh-huh.
and a witness of the suffering of Christ,
Right?
and also the partaker of the glory."
So Peter was a what?
Elder.
He was an elder. Go ahead.
"And also a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed.
Mm-hmm.
Feed," verse 2, "feed the flock of God,
Uh-huh.
which is among you."
So this is what we were all obtaining to. This is where the bishop, pastor, deacon, officer, 50, 100,000, general, right? You're striving for this. This is what we're all striving for. Go ahead.
"Taking the oversight thereof."
Right. So now he's showing you what the position in the so-called rank, the duty that comes with it. You see that? That's the position. You're an elder. Okay, well, what are you doing? You're supposed to have learned how to commit, sacrifice, give up, right? Which we're going to go to. I'll jump back. Go ahead, read.
"Not by constraint."
Not by what?
Constraint.
Right, so you would already had learned this. Before you get an elder, you would already know that what you're doing is not by constraint. See, that's a new person. When they first come in new, it's by, I gotta be there, I gotta do that. Why I gotta do it that way? That's constraint. See, but by the time you're an elder, you already know this is willingly. This ain't it. When you get to be this elder or ranking high-ranking person, you really realize it ain't about none of that. See, but you have to have those titles because to understand how to function at every level. So Christ takes us through all those levels of washing the feet of the apostles to being the elder amongst them. You see that? So you have to understand these levels and titles and positions. Go ahead.
But willingly.
But right, so at this time when you're an elder, you already should know that this ain't about being forced. This is about having a willing spirit, doing whatever you do, do it unto the Lord and not unto man. Go ahead.
Not for filthy lucre.
Not for money. Not for reward. Not for something carnal. So you already have to learn this. Go ahead.
But of a ready mind.
Right.
Verse 3.
Uh-huh.
Neither as being lords over God's heritage.
Right. So like we say when we give rank, it's not about being lords over the heritage. Rank is not about being a bishop, a pastor, a deacon, being an officer, 50, 100,000 is not about a lordship. It's about as much is given, much is required. That's what it's about. So this is what rank, position, title establishes. So you can't get caught up on whether the Old Testament they use this lingo or the New Testament they use this lingo, because even when you look at the definition, it's the same thing, isn't it? It's just a position. Go ahead.
But being ensamples to the flock.
Right. So an ensample is a inward example, right? So they're watching this character through you, the character of humility, of patience, kindness, long suffering, in you, right? They're looking at that. It's beyond what you're doing. They're looking at the things inside you. An ensample. Go ahead.
Verse 4.
Uh-huh.
And when the chief shepherd shall appear, ye shall receive a crown of glory that fadeth not away.
Right. So, because that's really what this is all about. This is all about us taking a job and a position in the part of the body. So that's what rank is. That's what a position is. Everybody has to answer to somebody. And even when you get to this point of a so-called elder, you're already putting yourself in this position of understanding what is necessary to be a leader. Why? Because you learned it at a young age. You learned it, like it says, train a child in the way which he shall go. At a young age, when you came in, you were learning it ain't about yelling at people. It ain't about me just having 1,000 scriptures. It ain't about that. It's about being a servant. And then in that, I'm going to be a better example. But if you're not learning that as a young age, then your misconception of what rank and position is that's why you have those examples out there in the world. Because they think just because I got knowledge, that now that's all I need. When that's not all you need, because the characteristics that come with the knowledge, the example, right, we're supposed to shine forth also. So it wasn't just about rank or position, or I passed the test, or I got promoted. It was about being the character that Christ wanted us to be. You was going to say something on that?
No, I was just thinking about one of the brothers that ran through at the mall.
Yeah.
And, just his nature, obviously said he'd been in the truth for a little while, but he didn't have the things that we've been talking about, the patience and meekness, because he was just talking about, I just like to go in, militant style, this and that. But, I was like, look, where's the meekness at? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where's the long suffering? Because they don't even know that.
Right. No, well, they're not being taught. Let me explain to you. The East Coast, that's how we were raised. But see, one thing about dealing with the West Coast, and this is back in the 90s, was that the West Coast, we see the dynamic of traveling. You see, and being able, remember how the scripture says about a what?
Well-traveled man.
A man that travels, right? They experience more. So a lot of the East Coast, That's why they're brutes like that. You know what I mean? I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them are. You know what I mean? Because they didn't learn about traveling and dealing with people. They just do that. This is New York. This is New York. This is how we roll. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And this is, we gonna deal with you like this. That's how they just. I did it too. I grew up there too. But then coming to the West Coast, you're able to see the difference in the people, how to approach them. You don't have to talk to them like you out of your damn mind all the time. You know what I mean? You don't have to do that. Like people in New York, you have to do that.
Right.
Because they're rugged, they're raw like that. But because they never get out of New York, they think, damn, I'm going to talk to somebody in Houston like that. You don't have to do that. They're more slow in Houston. You know what I mean? You might have to say, Murray. I'm just messing. No, I mean, not slow in that sense. They just more laid back. Not saying they stupid. Yeah, but they just more, they laid back, right? But that's the thing about traveling. You know what I mean? And that's what the West Coast, a lot of the West Coast cats that us came up under Ariala and them. Ariala, Mashaba, Zion, Kawakab, we got a different dynamic. So that's why you got a difference. Because you see that we adopted, we learn more as opposed to just, we're just going to yell and cut you. Now, if you look at the old tapes, you got cut. But still, what they didn't get is how to actually build a man. That's what the East Coast don't know how to do. The East Coast camp, they don't know how to build men. What they know how to do is teach you the Bible. But then when it comes to sitting down with you, telling you how to take care of your household, be patient, be long-suffering, be kind, be gentle, all those things, a lot of them don't know. I'm not saying that some do. I'm not saying that all of them are. A lot of them don't. That's where you see that online, like them talking to each other like that, them communicating like that. Why? Because they haven't learned. Listen, that's not the character of a true believer. Why? Because all they was given was what? Listen, the white man's the devil. He's the devil. America's going to be destroyed. That's how I wrote. That's how I raised too. All my scriptures was Isaiah, Revelations. I was talking about payback, revenge, downfall. Until you got the other side. Then you have to really understand that after you give a man that, what then? He needs to learn how to build his household. He needs to learn how to take care of his kids, but have a correct balance, not to sell out to his family, but have a balance within his family. We didn't learn that either in the East Coast. We didn't learn that in the East Coast. You know what I mean? And for that sake, a lot of brothers that grew up in the East Coast were East Coast elders. They didn't really sit down and tell you, hey, listen, bro, you need to make sure you spend time with your rib. Well, and then you would be able to sit back and say, well, how do I juggle not giving too much to my family and forgetting about the truth? That you never sat down and talked to brothers like that. So that's what you're seeing on YouTube. You're seeing those things. That's that type of mentality. Where they get on Facebook and be like, oh, that's a weak Christian. Like, wait a minute, the scriptures tell you to be gentle, to be meek. There ain't no weak Christian stuff to be like Christ. And that's where the difference is in a lot of these areas. But go ahead and finish.
Verse 5. Likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elders.
So there you go. There is an order. I mean, if you want to use the word elder or you want to use the word younger, it don't matter, right? There is an order. There is something that's supposed to be established to let this brother know, okay, you're still a babe right now, right? Go ahead.
Yea, all of you be subject one to another.
But reminding everybody, the elder, listen, you're still subject to this brother. Because why? Now you have to still help him through his issues, and not just because he makes one mistake, you cut him off.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that's as an elder too, as an elder brother or elder sister, you can't just the first mistake they made, then you just be like, oh, you're wicked, you're off. Most High is going to destroy you. He's going to burn you in hellfire. No, you got to help them through that.
Right.
That's what a true leader is. Christ didn't just did he cut Peter off?
No.
Or did he check him, correct him, and got him on the right track?
Check.
Yeah, he checked him.
Wait.
But he corrected him. He didn't just be like, nigga, you're wicked, Peter. That's it. Next, the next brother, no. He checked him, corrected him, and then led him on the right thought process. Right? So it takes work. And then it's reminding the younger brothers, right? Younger brothers, younger sisters. Go ahead.
And be clothed with humility.
Right? And that's really what's going to keep us all doing this. And what that humility is, and I'll ask y'all, what is that humility that clothes us? Don't think you're wrong. Just spit it out. What?
The humility that clothes us is the understanding that everything's not perfect.
There you go.
Or everybody's not perfect.
Everybody's not perfect. Now, when you get that, then you come off your high horse and realize that, no, everybody's not perfect. You're going to make mistakes. But just because put it like this, you have a child. When you have your child, you're not going to, your child is going to see you make mistakes, but can he just disown you as a father?
Right there.
You're right. And vice versa, when your rib sees you make mistakes, she can't just be like, well, I see you do, and you was off. Not if she's an understanding woman. She'd be like, you know what? You fell. Let's get back up. Let's go do this. And you would do the same to her. You see that? But see, when you don't have that humility, then you sit back and think like, see, nigga, you talking all that mess. You ain't perfect. I know what you did. That shows you how young they are. Because when you understand that everybody's going to make mistakes. Today me, tomorrow you.
Right.
And the only thing we can build in is forgiving and being the example. Not saying, you know what, I made a mistake, you know what, let me go slit my wrist, I give up. You can't do that either. You got to get back up, a righteous man falls 7 times, and get right back up and follow the example. But that clothed with humility is knowing that everybody make mistakes. You see that? All right, go ahead.
For God resisteth the proud.
He what?
Resisteth the proud.
There you go. So what is he doing here as an elder? Paul is what? Establishing and reminding young brothers where you need to get to. That when you do this work, it got to be willingly. It can't be out of filthy lucre. And it has to be, what am I forgetting? It has to be a humble mind. Right? Oh, and not because you want some fictitious power.
Right.
Because there ain't no power.
It's more responsibility.
It's more responsibility.
It's on your spirits, so.
Right. As much is given, much is required. So he's setting our minds on where that's what we always talk about when cats talk about, well, I want to be a teacher, I want to go teach. Right, but have you learned these things yet? Because if not, you'll get in an elder position and you won't get money. And then you'll be like, well, I got to do me. Well, but you're now over all these people, they depending on you to constantly be there for them. Right? So which one is it? You going to do you or you going to do the work? But if you didn't learn that from the beginning and all these obstacles that you're being taken through right now, and sacrifice and giving up and putting the work first, then when you get an elder, you're not going to know that. You're not going to be that. So that's why you're being put through all these things. That's why you sisters are being put through all these things. Because if you don't know how to take care and be a wife, you can't tell another sister. If you don't know how to be humble and know how to listen, you can't tell another sister. The logic, the outcome, and the mistakes. How many sisters you can sit there and make the mistakes, bounce back, be humble, be ridiculed and corrected by your husband, but bounce back and be able to be an example to say, sister, you know what? Yeah, don't do that. That's not the way to go. That's what we're all learning, right? So this is what rank entails, position entails. So it ain't just about position. Go ahead.
God resisteth the proud,
Right?
and giveth grace to the humble.
Right?
Verse 6.
Right. So that you see the point he's making here. He's making, listen, this ain't about some power, some your head getting lifted up and you Mr. Such and such. This ain't about that. We're nobody. We're just servants, tools, like I went over the other day, that can be replaced at any moment of time. Any second of time, you could be replaced. Most High remove you away and put somebody more powerful, more strong, more zealous, right? So go from there, go to Titus. Go to Titus 3. So, but you see this, right?
Yes, sir.
Now you got Peter being given his position, given his rank, right? He's the rock. Everybody was going to come to him, right? That's where, and like I said, I'm telling you the ignorance of the Catholic Church. This is the only reason why I'm bringing this part out, is that that's where they get the Pope. That's where they get fodder. You know, no, Christ, he said, don't do that. The greater thou art, the more you humble yourself, right?
Come on.
So 1 Timothy 3 verse 1, read that.
1 Timothy, let me see something.
Yeah, I'm sorry, 1 Timothy 3 verse 1, and then look up bishop.
Come on. 1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
This is a true saying.
Right.
If a man desires the office of a bishop,
Right.
he desires a good work.
Right. So what is a bishop?
A bishop is an overseer.
Yeah, overseer. That's all it is. A bishop is an overseer. But that's what we all are, right? We're all, because it said the elder was to take the what? The oversight. Right? So it's just ranking positions. You know, you're going to be doing it on a so-called low level, and then you're going to get to this higher level of making decisions. And I mean, y'all know that, right? Everybody got a job. You go in, you're doing fries, right? And you might not think it's important, but go ahead and mess up those fries.
Right.
But once you get those fries good, you move to the next what? To the patties. Right? Then you move from there to the patties. They might move you to what? Cashier. Right? Then they move.
Manager, baby.
Then you what?
Night manager.
Night manager, exactly. You gotta work, right? It's not that the fries are. Go ahead and mess up those fries.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? I was watching that movie Founder, and it's the cat that stole the idea from the cats that had McDonald's.
Dang.
Yeah, this dude ripped them off. But Michael Keaton played the cat that stole the idea. But this cat, man, was a beast. But one thing they did is they drew they took chalk and drew a box, and they drew the restaurant in the parking lot. And they made everybody stand in their position and move in this box. And I was just looking at it, and I was like, same thing Israelites do. Same concept, order, discipline, and unity. It's no different. We get to the Bible and we start acting, I don't know, what are you talking about being order, brother? Who are you? Like, you ain't nobody. You go to the white man's job and you shut the hell up and you're in order. You go to the white man's military, you shut the hell up and you go in order. You go to the white man's college, you don't go in there and do nothing but shut the hell up and listen. And you come to Israel as well. Who are you? Like, how do you know more than me? Because, nigga, I've been doing this for 30 years, you've been doing it for a week. Shut the hell up and listen. Right?
God.
Humbly. Sing. Right?
God.
No, it gets to the point where it's like, really, we're arguing about the concept of learning, listening, and order, and the way things are being done. You know what I mean? It's crazy. But The movie's good. The movie's good because it shows you about how they had to function in order. You know what I mean? And everybody was needed. And that's what the Bible teaches us. The Bible don't teach us that I'm more important than you or you're more important than me. And that's the importance of keeping the humility, is that because I'm important as much as you, because there's no, yeah, we got seats. But the point is to fill the seats so we can get a job done. Right? If I'm very bad at filling the seats, then the Most High is not using me like I needed me. And not saying we're like, well, if you ain't got 144,000, then you're not filling it. But you have to be good at your job, right? All right. So bishop meant what?
Bishop was an overseer, principal officer of the local church.
Right. So he's an officer. So back when you go to Deuteronomy, when you go to Deuteronomy, it said that go back to Deuteronomy, because just on your question, this is really good. This is a really good question.
We read that in our Sabbath class.
Yeah, we read it in Sabbath class. When you go back to Deuteronomy, or is it Exodus? It's actually Exodus. And you have Moses' father-in-law telling him to do what?
Set up order.
Yeah, he said, let's find that real quick though. Just to establish this point real quick. And then we'll jump right back.
It's Exodus chapter 18. 18 and 12.
Is it?
Or sorry, 13.
Okay, go ahead.
Exodus chapter 18 and verse 13. And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses sat to judge the people.
Right.
And the people stood by Moses from the morning until the evening. And when Moses' father-in-law saw all that he did to the people, he said, "What is this thing that thou doest to the people? Why sittest thou thyself alone? And all the people stand by thee from morning until even." Verse 15. And Moses said unto his father-in-law, "Because the people come unto me to inquire of God. When they have a matter, they come unto me, and I judge between one and another. And I do make them known the statutes of God and his laws."
Yeah, so that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing, man. We're letting them know the statutes of the Most High. So, once again, when we deal with these situations and issues, we don't supposed to be coming from our own mind. We're supposed to be coming from the scriptures. Well, I got a problem with my rib eye. Well, what's the problem? What's going on here? You can't take the brother's side because he's the man. You can't take the sister's side because she's the woman. You gotta judge righteous judgment. So you start dealing with those instances, right? See, but you had to be what?
Proven.
You had to be proven, and you had to be just. You see that? You had to be proven. You weren't just given a position without being proven that you were a stable. We're gonna go. We're gonna go into it. What?
That's what on my mind as well. Just concerning 144,000, not trying to take it off, but just the point that the 144,000 is not just chosen, but they're trustworthy individuals.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. Come on now. You making me jump to all of that. But no, this is it though. It's the same thing. We're leading to this point. This is establishing the thought process and the mind state of the 144,000. These are trustworthy, loyal individuals. It said they followed the Lamb whatsoever he went. Right? But these are the ones that stood for, it said they stood boldly for the Most High, right? In these times. But how? And that's where we go into these little details. as we go into 1 Peter 5, those are the details that you're overlooking. You're thinking like, a lot of brothers is overlooking it because they're figuring what? I got the Bible. I'm 144,000. No. The details, which are what? You got to be humble. You got to be meek. You got to love your brother. You got to be an example, right? Those are the details brothers forget. They want to just jump and get the position in the rank. Or I took the test. I'm such and such, general such and such. Well, you don't act like a general. You act like a brute, a beast, an animal, right? So we got to watch our example. So what is Moses? What is Moses establishing?
Jump down 20.
Yeah, jump down to 21.
21. Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men, such as fear God.
They what?
Fear God.
These men what?
Fear God.
Yeah, these women what?
Fear God.
Yeah, it's about fearing the Most High. You can't be. We had to go over this a while back. Sisters coming down talking about you're an elder, but you're not in order with your husband. You're an elder, but you're not in order with the church. You ain't no damn elder. Just like brothers, you're talking about elder such and such. Elder such and such. Like, that brother's not no. Like, what are you talking about? You've been in the truth a week. Stop calling yourself an elder, man. Just stick with Bishop. Stick with your name. That's why I said, just call me Kazakia. You know what I mean? Nobody really knows my rank. Why? Because it's not about that. When I got the rank, I realized it ain't about rank. It's about you doing this for the Most High in Christ. But that doesn't negate the process. Because brothers will say that too. Oh, brother, it's not about rank, it's not about position. It is, because we're reading it. It is about rank. It is about position. But it's not. It's about it to learn the process. But it's not mentally, psychologically. Right? That shouldn't be your goal. You know, the carnal aspect of the position. Right? You get it?
Yep.
Go ahead. Read out.
Men of truth.
Right, men of the law, men of truth. Go ahead.
Hating covetousness.
See, there you go. It says they were not for filthy lucre. So this ain't just an elder. This is a brother that was going to be a leader of the people. You can't be all about money. Why do you think it's a big theme for men in the truth to go through this? Because their whole mind is not like Christ said. It's about the carnal things. It's about I was just going over this in Luke today. It's about the physical things of life, right? And like the Gentiles, living like that and thinking life is meat and drink, right? So when you come into the truth and the concept of faith and believing and the Most High is going to provide and working, it's like, dang, it's hard to get. See, but a lot of these cats, man, they come in with that filthy lucre. They come in with that, I got to get paid. Bro, you in the wrong place. Sisters too, you in the wrong place. Go ahead.
And place us over them.
Right.
To be rulers of thousands.
And
rulers of hundreds.
Right.
Rulers of 50s. And rulers of 10s.
And all that means is, listen, that cat that can handle 10 people, let him handle 10 people. Because 10 people really is what? Work. 10 people is work. 10 means 10 men, their wives, their children, counseling, and dealing. You see that? So it takes work. But you have to have, what?
I think a lot of people forget that as well. You know, if it's really true rank when cats just call you up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And you're not in the mood to talk, but you already know that you're in this position, you're this example that you need to kill that spirit.
There you go.
You need to go ahead and accept that responsibility. It's actually a lot. Say the generals, right? When I think about what a general does, well, what I think, what I see, because it's a lot. But everything behind the door, but that's a lot to deal with. This movement here, make sure this spirit's right, these classes are together, this whole organization for this, that's a lot.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. But once again, as a young man, as you're learning these attributes, when you get there, it starts to become second nature, like everything else. You know what I mean? But you're right. It is work. It's work, and to keep your mind. See, you know where the main work is? There you go. Yourself. Because if you got that little niglet in you that's in here for filthy lucre, you in here for some carnal thing, you in here for women, you in here for position. I'm gonna tell you, man, the Most High, being in a high position, He'll show you ways and break you down. He'll break your ass down. It's not like, you know how when you're young, when you come in, you just get stupid and go back in the truth, or go back in the world. You get to all this position, I've seen it. You got cats out that have been through 30, 40 years that went back to being Christians. Why? Because when they were young, they never learned these essentials. There was a glitch in the matrix. There was something wrong with them while they were sitting there and learning. Huh?
So they weren't that anomaly.
Yeah, no, they was like, it's like that one person that sit there with you. They look like they listening, but really in their head they like, yeah, I mean, they're like, okay, you know they got something, and that's where Christ was sitting down looking at Judas. He was like, this nigga that dips the sock with me. Well, like, because he knew what was in his mind. You could tell. Look right through his eyes. Go ahead, read on.
Come. Verse 22. And let them judge the people at all seasons.
Uh-huh.
And it shall be that every great matter they shall bring unto thee, but every small matter they shall judge.
Right. So that's what we're here for, man. And that's what we're going to do on a bigger scale, dealing in the kingdom of the Most High. Yeah, we're dealing with a nation. And all the ones that are going to be guiding in the nation, dealing with this nation and getting the world right, it's those that came through the fire. And what was the fire? What was the adversity, though?
Your own self.
It was you. It was your selfishness. You wanted to put you first, and you didn't want to lay down your life for your brothers. That's why High Priest Shai even hits me all the time. He said, and I hit y'all with this a lot too, right? Like, you think everybody's gonna get that penny, which is the kingdom, but everybody's not gonna get to sit up there with the 12 apostles. Like, you didn't go through what the hell they went through. Everybody's not gonna get what the 144,000 get. You trying to tell me the cats that come in the last hour, they get spiritual power and they didn't do nothing? No, they're gonna get into the kingdom. That's the gift. That's the that's what the Most High promised. You get the kingdom, power, rulership, authority. But you don't just get to tell Peter, listen, brother, hold on a second. I came in too, brother. I'm a man just like you. You don't get to tell Paul, Matthew, Mark, all them to be like, step aside, brother. Who are you? It's like these cats got chopped in half, sawed in half, and you just get to speak on the street corner and thought you was a... Yeah, they got it bad, huh? You know, so let's go back. Go back to Titus. That's a good one, though. Timothy's. I'm sorry. Go back to Timothy's 3.
1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
This is a true saying. If a man desire the office of a bishop,
right,
he desireth a good work.
Right. So, why? Because we all desire the office of a bishop, of an elder, of a teacher, of a leader, whatever title you want to put on it. The scripture says what? When you convert a sinner, you what?
Cover multitude of your own sins.
Hell yeah! So we all want that title. Right? It ain't one person. We're not coming into this truth like the church. We're coming in here to achieve a position. Right? Because the ultimate position is to sit on the right-hand side with Yahweh Shai, right? So this is what we're fighting for. So we're taking on these low-level stewardships, right? We're gonna do the fries. What I gotta do? I gotta do the fries. Fine, I'll do the damn fries. Cause why? I'm not doing the fries for you. I'm doing the fries for me in the kingdom, right? But that's the problem, that you get caught up on what you're doing instead of being caught up on why you're doing it. So a bishop is the same thing as an officer, 50, 100,000, a steward, an elder. It's the same thing. Go ahead.
He desired a good work.
Right.
A bishop then must be blameless.
See, but was that any different than the officers of 50, 10s, hundreds, and thousands? No. Was that any difference? Like, oh, so when you're an elder, you're not supposed to be blameless? No, that's no difference from 1 Peter 5 to Exodus 18 to 1 Timothy 3. We're learning how to be what?
Blameless.
We're learning how to be what?
Blameless.
Sisters?
Blameless.
You're learning how to be blameless. That means making less mistakes. This is what it means for rank and position. You can't just come in and get a title and you wilding the hell out. You still double-minded, unsure, unfaithful. You're supposed to be learning how to be blameless. Go ahead.
The husband of one wife.
Right. You talking about, well, I want to get one rib here, one rib there. You're not even blameless yet, nigga. You can't even make it a class on time. And you want to talk about, oh, brother, yeah, the spirit of lust is guiding your ass. It ain't the spirit of handling your duties for the Most High. Because when you walk in the door and you first learning this, and you haven't even made it in the Trooper Academy yet, and the spirit is telling you need another woman, nah, bro, that's bull. Why? Because you haven't committed yourself to the Most High first. So the bishop must what?
The bishop must be blameless. The husband of one wife.
Learn how to deal with one woman. Learn how to deal and have patience with one woman. This is what the Most High is reminding us. See? And see, I wish I was told that when I came in. I wouldn't have made so many young, stupid mistakes. See? Go ahead.
Diligent.
Vigilant.
Vigilant.
Vigilant. What does vigilant mean? Because we're still talking about rank and position. But what I'm trying to show you is that whether you're an elder, whether you're a bishop, a pastor, a deacon, whether you're officer 50, 100, 1,000, whatever title you put on, you're learning these essential elements. You understand that? Sisters? I don't know about y'all, but I got kids. And I got a 20-year-old. And when it comes to 20-year-old, oh my God. They don't say nothing and don't know nothing. How about the brother, Volante's brother?
Oh, kind of.
He swear he know everything, right? But now he got a tattoo on his chest. He blowing smoke on it. Why? Because he know every damn thing. There's no humility. Well, this is the thing with young brothers and sisters coming in the truth. They know every damn thing and don't know nothing. That's why I throw stuff out like that. How many times have you read the Bible? Oh yeah, what about this? What about that? Why? Because you can have knowledge, but experience and knowledge is needed. So you can understand how to use it and perform with the word. Right? But you can't tell a young man that. To be vigilant. Go ahead.
Sober.
Right? Go ahead.
Of good behavior.
There you go. Of good behavior. So that's the characteristic of a leader, of a teacher, of a soldier, of an officer. Right? You're learning these things. And we got to tell you, brother, listen, we're around sisters, stop making like sexual jokes around them. Or we got to tell you, AI, when you hug sisters, don't do a full frontal hug on them. You ain't aware that you putting all your body into them, like, and that's another man's wife. If a sister gives you, give her a side hug. You know what I mean? Give her a friend hug. You know what I mean? Not like, shalom, sister. Oh, sister. But you get niggas in the world that don't know how to be this. They don't even know, they don't have class. They're not classy. Israelites ain't classy, they trashy. They come in and niggas like, yeah, they looking at her like, they see that, you know what I mean? You're ready to turn around and like, yeah, they look at you and smile like, niggas are brutes. Israelites, they're animals. But it's not wrong. I mean, what I'm saying is it's not that they're supposed to be. They're coming from the world. We want that. You understand? But you see how being an officer, being a leader, you have to get rid of all these things. Now, would you ever thought of that unless I had brought it out as an example and really sat there and thought about the stature or level of an officer, of a young brother, that he would have to know how to hug a sister? It's so minute, but yet serious. Right? It's so minute, it's like, hug. Like, why would you do that? Right? But we got brothers that do that. To where sisters is like, shalom. Like, I got a dapper brother now. Why? Because you trying to get. Yeah, that's not how we do here, brother. We don't do that. But you see, y'all understand what I'm saying, right? So how many other things we can go through and talk about how a character of an officer is supposed to be? You know what I mean? He's just not a brute come in, you know what I mean, throwing his shit around, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean, son? You know what I mean? There's this cat at the summit.
Oh, man.
Oh my God. There's this cat at the summit that was just like that. If I would have took a video, y'all would have said, this ain't no Hebrew Israelite. That's a nigga like.
Fringed out.
Alright. He was like, yeah, nigga. He was like, yeah, you must have. I was like, is this nigga in a belly video? That's why I don't like New York though, excuse me. Because me growing up there, I always looked at these niggas like, you niggas are animals. I never liked growing up. I was like, you niggas are wild. But they have to learn, you know, and not saying that swag is different from the beastly swag of an H-Town, or I'm just saying that you got that brutality, that bestiality everywhere. Yeah, Israelite, you swear hard as thug. A king is a thug. No, a king is a bum. I mean, a thug is a bum. When I think of a thug, I think of a nigga with his pants down, you know what I mean, with nice clothes on, but you're like a bum to me.
Can't properly wear it.
Yeah, he can't properly wear his attire, right? Exactly. But that's what we were taught, right? You're not thinking about this when you come into truth and learning to be a Hebrew Israelite. That's why the first thing you're being told, pull up your pants, brother.
Right.
And you looking at brothers like, what do you mean? My pants are pulled up, but they're not. They're not pulled up. Like it's still got that little sag to it. Yeah. Ray used to do it like that. You know what I mean? He still got. It's like brother, your pants. But little by little, we had to work that out of him. Then he realized that, dang, by looking, seeing the character of the scriptures, the ensample of the men that was amongst them, he seen that there was a difference between an Israelite and a bishop, a pastor, a deacon. You see that? Now, listen, are you getting it now? Why just getting knowledge doesn't make you an elder, or it doesn't make you a brother to go out there and teach? Because you have fringes on, and your pants will be sagging. You know that? Your pants will be sagging. How the hell you gonna be having fringes on and your pants sagging? No, man. No. There's a character. There's a standard that we gotta uphold. Go ahead, read on.
Given to hospitality.
Right. Well, think about it. A Hebrew Israelite is hospitable? No. When I look at a Hebrew Israelite, he's a brute. He's an animal. The nigga shove you in the face just if you look at him wrong, right? No, that's not what it's supposed to be. Like, think of Christ. Could you confront him? Could you come to him? You couldn't come to him and play games. But to lay in his bosom, if you've seen John laying in his bosom, him dealing with the brothers, you could come to him when you really knew him, right? Could you come to him and play games if you were the Pharisees and Sadducees? No, because he's seeing right through you. But once you get to know him, you're like, wait a minute, this cat, he wasn't just like sitting across the room like every person he walked up to shoved you in the face. Like, nigga, stop staring at me. I'm a Hebrew Israelite. Nah. You know what I mean? We gotta get rid of that mind and look at these characteristics. Go ahead.
Apt to teach.
He's what?
Apt to teach.
And that's what you were saying about having to be ready to teach every time. Every time you get the call, every time you get the counsel, every time, and like you said, it gets to the point. See, with me, it's not even that I don't want to do it. It's now you still got to be humble to the bullshit. Because it's like, I get the call and I'm like, I'm going to counsel this person, but they ain't going to listen to nothing I'm saying anyway. They're going to go right back, and that's what pisses me off now. It's not the duty of it, is that now I got to be humble still to be there through their BS time. Because they'll be doing that. They'll be wasting your time still going to do what the hell they want to do and not applying the counsel. But you still got to teach them. That takes humility, man. Go ahead.
Verse 3. Not given to wine.
Not what?
Not given to wine.
So an officer, a deacon, a pastor, a bishop, an officer of 50, 100,000, a general, a 10 shield, 12 shield, whatever, he can't be what?
Not given to wine.
Right. He can't just be the guy that's like every time you see him, he's what?
Wasted.
He's wasted. You smell him, he smell like what? You're like, I can't take this guy serious. You see what I'm saying? I can't take him serious. Every time you deal with him, every time he deals with his problems is with liquor. Or if you want to get real stupid, some of these cats are still getting high, still popping pills. You see how far? Listen, I'm not saying I'm perfect either. What I'm saying is, though, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work and a lot of sacrifice. Or else, you know what? You make a lot more mistakes. A lot more mistakes that could not, you didn't have to make if you were humble and followed first. You know? Go ahead.
No striker.
No what?
No striker.
Wait a minute. So, wait a minute. Read that one more time.
No striker.
Now, if you brothers and sisters are listening, a Hebrew Israelite don't supposed to be getting down the street trying to punch outside Netta. What is his name, son? polite or whatever. Like, what the hell are y'all doing? Like, are you? What are y'all? That's not even it. The scriptures. I don't understand it. I'm looking at these videos. I'm like, teach the word. Just like you trying to get in his face and like, what you gonna do? And like, what are y'all? You like thug life or you Israelites? It's not what we do. I'll put it like this: did Christ do that? Did Christ go and step to the Pharisees and say, "Listen, niggas, I'm gonna beat your ass"? He even with the scriptures cut them. Christ didn't step out the Spirit. And it takes work, but that's not the way. And if you see that online, you attribute that to what? Hebrew Israelites. I don't have to change. I can still whoop a nigga's ass real quick. What am I doing? Like I don't have to have no discipline. I don't have to have no order about myself. I don't have to have no control. A Hebrew Israelite is a nigga that gets the Bible and it might knock your ass out with it. That's when I see these videos. I'm like, holy God, it's a disgrace. Especially when they so sharp in the word, and then you do that. It's like you just messed everything up. That's why I like what's his name? The short brother, what's his name? We got next.
Oh, Zabak.
Now, I don't watch a lot of videos online, but the ones I watch to him, he'll laugh it off. I don't know. Have y'all seen him confront anybody? Huh?
Zabak's always.
You seen him confront somebody?
No. I'm watching it.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see Zabak do that.
He's always more non-confrontational when it comes to people, right? Like, let it be. He's got the little.
Yeah, that's why I like Zabak, because he's like, see, Zabak and us, he came in after I graduated the Hebrew Academy. He came in after me. But but that generation of the Hebrew Academy, like even Light of Zion, when you go to Light of Zion, you won't see that a lot. Now I don't watch a lot of their videos, so don't quote me, But like we didn't come up like that, and that was being in New York. This was in New York. We didn't deal like that. If you go look at the old videos, even though back in the 60s maybe elders was knocking niggas out first coming in, but as it progressed, they got to the 70s and 80s. You know what I mean? The elders themselves, they didn't do that. I'll put it like this: all the old videos you gonna see, the elders ain't did nothing like that. You know what I mean? So you have to know real history of the elders. But that's what I'm saying, that you can deter and show the outstanding character of a leader, a Hebrew Israelite, and you don't gotta beat nobody down. So it's just those things that when you look at officers, elders, this is what it is. These are the characteristics. So when we fall short, you can't still say, oh, that's a Hebrew Israelite. Man, you gotta say, that brother's, he's young in that area. You can see him, maybe online, maybe spin those scriptures, but we can fall short in some areas. And we need to correct that. Go ahead, read on.
Not greedy of filthy lucre.
Right? See, once again, the same thing as we read in 1 Peter 5. Filthy lucre, greedy, about themselves, about money. I gotta get it. If I don't get it, then I don't feel right about myself. Go ahead.
But patient.
But what? Patient. We gotta have patience. A lot of patience dealing with Israel. Go ahead.
Not a brawler.
Not a what? A brawler. It comes back and tells you, once again, not a fighter, not a brawler. You're not out having a drink and we was wild, man. We was wild. You just wilding out. Yeah, but trust me, the Most High checked all of that. Brothers get beat down. Brothers get put in jail. Why? Because that's not no Hebrew Israelite.
Right.
Go ahead.
Not covetous.
Not what?
Covetous.
Not covetousness. You see that? Not taking stuff that ain't his. Now, you see the brother that we had to suspend about dealing with the woman thing, right?
Yeah.
That means that when that woman came in, he was sitting back eyeing her. You're not supposed to do that. She's single, that's one thing. You know what I mean? But you're supposed to be like, I'm just waiting for that brother to slip up. Then you get in a position, and then you divide households. That's what Eli, when you go back to Eli and his sons, it says his sons was having sex with the women in the congregation.
In front of the church.
In front of the church. So Most High killed him. He killed him.
It was scary.
So you see how you have to watch. You have to watch how you come off. You have to watch how you deal. And you not being perfect, you're gonna make mistakes. You gotta be humble enough to come back and apologize.
Right.
Right? All these things, man. Listen, I haven't learned. I'm still learning. I'm still learning all these years. I'm still learning. So I'm not saying I'm perfect in all these aspects. I know this though. This is the standard. This is the standard. Not that bull stuff we're seeing.
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 4. One that ruleth well his own house.
There you go. It keeps throwing that in your face. It keeps throwing that in your face. You can't pick up your damn clothes, but you're going to tell another man to get in order? You don't know about laundry? It'd be young brothers, be like 19, 20. Can't even pick up their own damn laundry and keep their house clean. But you're going to talk about, hey, brother, get in order? Come on, man. And I'm not saying if you got a wife and you're trying to teach her a lesson, but even in that, you will help your wife. You know, I help my ribs. It ain't like I'm just like, listen, that's your job. They're doing so much, I'm having to do laundry. I'm having to do my own laundry. I'm having to cook now. Before they was cooking all the time, now it's like, I got to do all that. You know what I mean? But that's the understanding, the unity and the bond of what y'all, y'all come together. It ain't like you just lying in the house. You got to learn how to guide your house, right? And you got a lot of brothers that don't know how to guide their house. They don't have the patience. They don't have the long suffering. They don't have the tact, right? They're ready to give up on their rib in the first whimper of them getting out of order. If that's the case, then that's going to happen with you in Israel. First brother that get out of order, cut you off. Most High gonna kill you. Shalom. Because that's how you deal with your rib. But when you have patience and love with your rib to be able to say, get your Bible, sit down, and you told her that already, and you told her again, and then you finding methods and ways to teach her, that's what gets you skill. But that's for somebody you love. Now, a lot of these cats would say, that's bullshit, brother. She got to be in order. She got to be in order, or she got to, if she goes not as thou wouldst have her, cut her off and give her bullet of course. True. The word is true, right? But that's even to belligerent. She gets stupid, right? Because she doesn't, when you deal with a woman, she don't just learn the exact way you need things right away. You see that?
Yeah.
So you have to teach her. A lot of brothers don't believe that. They don't know that. They don't think that. You know what I mean? Listen, when I came in, I didn't know that. I didn't think that. I believe it was get in order, get right, or you done. That was it. But that wasn't. But that didn't teach me nothing. Until I started to understand that my family was going to have to be an example for the body, is what he's showing us. Then I really understood why it was necessary to teach, to be patient, to be kind. And granted, still, there's some unruly ass women, but the most of the time, when they're unruly to that point, it's going to be seen that they got to go. The little argument or disagreement here and there, you know what I mean? You shouldn't have to cut your rib off. So you're going to need patience. long suffering, and kindness, right? Go ahead.
One that ruleth well his own house, having his children in subjection with all gravity.
You gotta have your what?
Children in subjection with all gravity.
It takes work. It takes work. All the work we're doing, then you gotta go back and be like, put the beat down, put the discipline down. You gotta talk to your kids. You gotta figure things out, what they're hiding. You gotta be in unity with your rib, so she can communicate and she can tell you what's happening with the kids. So you could be there to be the discipline and the guide. It takes work, plus teach, plus counsel, plus do all the other things you're doing. See, but you see how you can't be self-willed?
Or constraint.
Huh?
Constraint.
What do you mean?
Have constraint, like you're forced to do something.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta be out of love. It all gotta be out of love. Go ahead.
Verse 5. For if a man know not how to rule his own house,
Go ahead.
how shall he take care of the house of the Most High?
Yeah, and that's what it means by taking care of your house. And if he doesn't know how to do what?
How to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the house of the Most High?
Yeah, he's supposed to know how to rule his house. He's supposed to know what's wrong with his rib, why she like it like that, and know how to talk her down. You know what I mean? How to talk, motivate her, guide her. You know when she's weak. You know, and granted, the woman got to do the same thing. She got to know how to be that support for her husband. That mental, to not be the burden, the thorns, the thistles, but yet be the support. So it's both ways, right? Then you'll be able to say, sister, this is how you can be a better wife to your husband. You see how it ain't all about Revelations breakdowns, how that the earth is flat, I got to get this knowledge and that knowledge. Brother, after you got that knowledge, then what? Real work. Real work. Building, growth, family, household, children. Not we can't deal like Christ is going to come back tomorrow. No, we got to build for the future now, right? Christ might not be back to the year. He might not come back to another 100 years. Then what? You lived your life. That's what brothers did back in the day. We were on this year 2000 thing, and what happened? He didn't come back in the year 2000. Then what happened? Brothers messed up their credit. They messed up their money. They didn't think for the future. We think for the future, man. Because common sense and the scriptures tell us we don't know when Christ is coming back, right? Go ahead, read.
Verse 6. Not a novice, least being lifted up with pride, he fall into condemnation of the devil.
I want you to rewind that one. Go ahead.
Verse 6. Not a novice.
What is a novice?
Beginner.
A what?
An amateur.
But how do you know they're amateurs? How do you know they're amateurs?
By their actions.
It's going to tell us. Read it again.
Not a novice, least being lifted up with pride.
Not a novice. He's not a novice. Because usually you would know the novice because they're lifted up with what?
With pride.
See, because when you get to a level, you really realize you don't know nothing. You know what I mean? Come on now. Every good karate movie tells you that. When you really get knowledge, you really realize you don't know nothing. Like Paul said, like the scriptures say that you ought to know, right? But see, this is the problem with us as learning coming in. You sisters, brothers, you want to be a leader, an example, an officer, 50, 100,000. For sisters too. You're that. You're just not that entitled. You're still there's still rank among sisters, but we don't go through the ranking words, right? But there's still ranking position. Why? Because it's through your example. It's through your character. It's through your work. And you're going to stand and show forth that, what you are, right? So you can't be a novice lifted up in pride and bringing all the old worldly mentality to the truth. Go ahead.
Least being lifted up with pride, he fall into the condemnation of the devil.
Yeah, and that's usually what you see the outcome of young brothers talking about, I'm going to start my own camp. I'm going to go start my own camp. We got one brother, he couldn't even, and I'm not making fun, he couldn't even spell. But he was the brothers told me I'm just going to go open up my own camp. Like, what brothers? Who? Right. Who gave you that authority? Like, but that's what this guy couldn't even spell Mary Had a Little Lamb. And we were like, we didn't make him feel bad. We was like, okay, brother. Okay, go ahead, do what you gotta do, bro. Why? Because some Israel gotta learn. Go ahead.
Verse 7. Moreover, he must have a good report.
He must have a what?
A good report.
So, an officer, a leader, an officer, 10, 100,000, a bishop, pastor, deacon, an elder, he must have a good what?
A good report.
You see that? You knew a man by his character, his standard. You knew a sister by her character and her standard. Hey, don't try to come with this, oh, bro, that's the name they put on me. No, that's what you're known for. If you're the one always late to the garment meetings, then you're the late sister. If you're the one that's always half-assed when you do something, you're like, your stitches are half-assed, it's like, ugh. Don't give your garment to that sister. Why? Because she really doesn't put her spirit into it. That's you. You make your name. You know what I mean? You're the one that always in front of brothers and sisters arguing with your husband. That's you. Don't try to act like you something you not. Stop doing it. You are from your standard and what you uphold in your character. Y'all see that? So remember, Moses said, go give these ones men that were renowned, men were known, sisters that were known, known for diligence, right? Known for endurance, right? Not known for, it's a game, I'm going to be there when I want to, this is part-time, yeah, whatever. You know them by their fruits, right? That's why I tell every time the elder sisters tell me about a younger sister, I said, like, stop. I have to remind them, they're young. They're supposed to do that. We was doing the garments and she just was with her husband posting this. I'm like, she's new. What's she supposed to do? She's not dedicated to this yet. She's still here for what? She's still here. Thank you. She's still here for him. Come on now. Y'all know that, right? Y'all not stupid. Some of these sisters are here for what? They husband. And if they husband left, guess what? They be gone too. Let's be real. They're not here for Christ yet. They got to be built in them. Right? So, that's the trail. That's what the truth is really about. See, and then when those sisters, you know them because when they start making a name for themselves in the truth, they're no longer doing the garments and the meetings and the food and the clothes and the Passover. They're no longer doing that because we gotta be there. It's required. What are we learning from those elder sisters? They're not doing it out of restraints. Because your husband says you gotta be there. You start, I gotta be over there with the sisters. I'm like, but damn, could I get a little time? I can't just do that, because if I do that, they're going to do that. They're going to look at me and do that. That's the conversation with Marvin, right? If I do that, they're going to see me do that, and they're gonna be doing the same thing. So there was times, one time I tried to have Shawashina do something. She's like, "You're going to make me late to the sewing meeting." I'm like, "So I need you to do this." She was like, "But if I'm late, they're going to use that, and they're going to be late in it." And I'm like, "Okay, get to the damn sewing meeting. I'll cook all this damn food here." But then I got to snap. I got to be like, okay, she got a point there, right? Which one is it? Am I going to have her uphold the standard? But those are the arguments we get in. I'm trying to keep the standard, and you're making me do stuff outside of what I need to be doing. And I'm like, but I need shit too. Excuse me. I need stuff too, right? But that's the argument you're supposed to be getting in. Not like, I gotta go there. Why I gotta go there? They don't like me anyway. It's like, oh my God. It's okay, sister. They're new, right? But are y'all looking at and understanding rank and position? It ain't got nothing to do with the title. It has everything to do with what? Burden. It has everything to do with the example. Everything to do with the standard. Everything to do with the righteousness. It ain't got nothing to do with oh, that's such and such. Such and such could be a nigga and you don't like him. Right? Such and such could have a title, but fell off from that title. Right? And you gotta give them a chance too, but you got that too. But once again, we're still talking about example. These are the examples. They gotta step the hell back up, right? That brother, that sister. Go ahead.
Moreover, he must have a good report of them which are without. Lest he fall into reproach and the snare of the devil.
Yeah, read.
Likewise must the deacons be grave.
What does grave mean? So we went to bishops. Well, what is deacon? What does deacon mean? Give me the definition of deacon. Because what we're finding is that they're just titles. They're just overseers, right? Just on different levels. The deacon might be under the bishop, right? The officer 50 is obviously under the officer 100, right? What is deacon? Go ahead.
A member of the cleric order next to below that of a priest. It says, an appointed.
Stand up and read it.
Oh, sorry. A member of the.
But there is. It is a difference. It's a ranking order. The bishop, the deacon will probably be under the bishop. Yeah, what you got, sis?
Well, I gotta agree. Well, in Greek,
Uh-huh.
their meaning it would be like servant, waiting man, minister. That's what
Nice.
it says in Greek.
Nice. In Greek, it means servant, minister. But ain't we all ministers? So this question, I ran with it because it was a really good question when it comes to rank and position. Because really, in essence, there is no rank. This titles is just for us to know who to go to and whose job that is. You know? Yeah, that's such and such job. Why? Because he has this title. That's all that's for. Right? So we're talking about deacons. What we got? Go ahead, read on. 3 and 8.
Likewise must the deacons be grave.
What does grave mean?
Serious or solemn?
Look, wait a minute. They're supposed to be what?
Serious or solemn?
Yeah, you're supposed to be serious about this. Sisters, you're supposed to be serious about this. Brother's supposed to be serious. You got to be for real. Go ahead.
Not double tongue.
Not what?
Double tongue.
Yeah. Show you the standard. You can't, listen, if you're really speaking the double tongue, you know what? She doesn't understand what it means to be a servant, a deacon, a bishop, a follower. Same thing with a young brother. You don't give a young brother that's still talking back. You don't give him no position, no rank. Why? Because that means when he gets in that rank, he's going to be arguing with you back and forth. He hasn't learned humility yet. Whether a bishop, pastor, deacon, officer 50, officer 100,000, general, whatever title, you can't be under the influence of something else and that be your pull. Pills, weed, drugs, drinking. You don't supposed to be that. Go ahead.
Not greedy of filthy lucre.
Right?
Holding the mystery of the faith in a pure conscience.
Yeah, you got these cats, like when you look at what we have here is the Trooper Academy. Well, when you first come in the door, you're a trooper. Okay? A trooper is a brother that comes in, he's moving, living off of his zeal. That's when he's first coming, he's moving off of his zeal. Right? And then you have, after that, a soldier. Well, troopers rank, believe it or not, because you have a member too. A member what?
Comes to class.
A member shows up 1 month here, another month there. Then, he might drop a $5 type, $5 on, make you feel special. If you really want to make you feel special. You know what I mean? He do something like that. Disappear again. That's a member. You know what I mean? But the soldier is a what? I mean, the trooper is a what? No, he's trooping it. He's like, with his class, bro, I gotta get this. It's not a game, right? That zeal is propelling him more than just a member. I want to be more than just a person that knows the Bible or knows I'm a Hebrew Israelite. So what does that trooper do? He wants to take the test because he wants to be a soldier. Well, what's the difference between a soldier and a trooper? Well, a soldier now, he's picking up and learning the essential elements of what it needs to be a Hebrew Israelite. These things right here. All these things. Now, he might not be this perfect hardcore, right? But he sees that the standard is necessary. The order is necessary. And that's why he comes and he takes his soldier's test. And the soldier's test is basically saying, I can follow orders. I can follow orders. I can follow direction. Hey, we need this to get done. Oh, Khan, I got you. I'll handle that. Right? And then you got the soldier, then you got the officer 50. Well, when you move to the officer 50 is saying what? He's where you get into all these right here. Deacons, bishops, right? It's all the same thing. Because this is the standard. You can put whatever dang title you want on it. But you better have these characteristics on you. You better be known for upholding the standard and the characteristics of a Hebrew Israelite. And that's how we judge. That's how we look at these things. Not carnally. You're like, oh, you know what? This brother arms, look at, oh, he came in, he dropped $1,000, or he dropped $2,000, or you know what? Make this brother 7 shield. No, you can't do that. He got to go through the steps as the other brothers. You gotta watch that, because, man, anyway. Go ahead, read.
Verse 10. And let these also first be proved.
Let them be what?
Proved.
Huh?
Proved.
I don't have to prove myself to nobody.
Be proved.
You gotta be what?
Be proved.
Sisters gotta be what? Proved. Brothers gotta be what? Proved. You gotta be proved, man. What the hell are you talking about? Just like I said earlier, everything has a proving ground, but except when you come into the truth, BS. You gotta be proved in the truth. And that's why people rather learn online. That's why you don't want to deal with no camp. Because your ass gotta be proved. You gotta go through the motions and you gotta be looked at and said, hold on, brother, you like patience, hold on, brother. Every time I see you, hold on. Every time I see you with a problem, you popping a damn Budweiser, bro. Hold on, I see you shove your rib in her face. Hold on, But you talking about you teaching your class online? What, like, you can't do that.
Right.
I mean, you can, but you can't. Right? But this is the standard. This is what we're looking at. Y'all get it?
Come.
All right, go finish that. Go ahead.
Then let them use the office of a deacon, being found blameless.
Being found what?
Blameless.
Go ahead.
Even so must their wives be grave.
Whoa. Whew. So what is it saying?
Good example.
It's saying this. You can't be a leader and you're rigged some disgruntled ass hood rat.
Right?
To where you gotta choke her out for her to get in order. I can't do this for you, nigga. You coming out smiling, but she's in the room choked out. Because why? Hey, but that's where you gotta know. Listen, it's time to nah. Hey. Yeah, you listen. You cannot. Y'all gotta understand this. You can't be an officer of 100 and your ribs still a member. Why? It's just not gonna work. I know. Listen, we know what Paul said. If they be pleased to dwell together, but I'll tell you like this: you gonna have requirements. You don't need nobody to hang out, buddy. I need somebody that's gonna help me to do what the hell we're building. I don't need a part-time, booty call. I see you at home, we have sex, you cook me a meal. Nigga, I need somebody to sew garments. I need somebody to be with the sisters to give out food to the poor. Right? I need you to, like we got sisters doing I was actually asking about this today. The brother gave me like a comic book, but we have the sister adding to it. We need sisters to do stuff like that. Not just sit around and be, you want to have respect, but you want to just be legs in the air? No. You're going to be an asset, a help, a benefit to the nation. That's what this is about, man. So, the women have to be what? Grave. They have to be grave. That's why you got to be careful. That's why we teach the officers, the troopers, the soldiers that you do what? If you studying for your test, you better bring her mental level up to that level. Because you know why? She'll be a member, and you be off your mind to be into studying and teaching and growing, and she's still sitting in the back like Judas, like, I don't believe nothing.
Can't wait to get out of here.
Yeah, can't wait to get out of here. And you're full-fledged running into the spirit. And she's like, I thought you was going to get weak. Somewhere along the way, this cat's running with this. You're just wasting your time. So don't waste your time, sisters. Don't waste your life. That's why you got to dig in for Christ. I know you might have came in with him, but this ain't about him. This is about your salvation. It's about you being right with Christ and you making a stamp for Christ. Go ahead.
Come. Not slanderers.
Not what?
Not slanderers.
Not what?
Not slanderers.
Not what?
Slanderers.
That's a big one. Speaking about things you don't know. making stuff up you don't know. If you don't know about it, you don't know that person, you ain't talked to that person, shut the hell up. That's what the Most High showed me. You know what I mean? He showed me that way back with YouTube. I was high on the Illuminati, Jay-Z, until they said that about us, and I was like, what the? Are you serious? And they called me too. I just had my hands. I was like this, and they called me, and I'm thinking like, wow, slanders. That's slander, right? Mm-hmm. Why? Because you don't know them. You don't know what they're doing. You ain't been around them. But you gonna say negative about them. You gotta watch that, brothers and sisters. Did y'all know that one was on the list? To be a leader? Right? Read.
Sober.
Once again, aware. Go ahead.
Faithful in all things.
They gotta be what?
Faithful in all things.
So why are you going through this? Why are you being put on the basics of level of things? Because you gotta, it says prove a friend. Right? You want to know if a girl likes you, you what? Hey, won't you come over and cook me some? Thanks. Cook you some, nigga. Okay, duly noted. I lose my number. You know what I mean? Done. Thank you for doing this right from the door. Right. You understand? You know that you ain't even dealing with that, right? Unless you want to go through the motions of teacher, and is she willing to be taught? That's the question. Go ahead.
Faithful in all things. Let the deacons be the husband.
So the woman has to be faithful. She has to be proven. The man has to be faithful. He has to be proven. And how do you prove him? He said he gives us the what? Be faithful over what? Say it. Say it, sis. The small things. Right? That's how you know. That's how you know. When you meet a woman, don't you prove her like that? When you meet a man, don't you prove him like that? To see what type of cat he is? Let me not answer his text. Let me see what he did. You like, this nigga's crazy. Just delete. Block. Right? Like, I just met you. Right? You try in some way. And that's what we do in the truth. That's what you have to go through. Every brother, when I came in, guess what? I was the pizza boy. Go grab us 2 slices of pizza. Go grab me two. And guess what? I was 16 years old and I got it wrong. And my dad and brothers was like, they look at you. A lot of times they didn't have to say nothing. They just look at you with the look like, like, damn, you can't even get the pizza right. But that had to prove me to be faithful, right? Then I was I got better at that. Then I was the camera guy. When we go off the street speak, you get the camera equipment, you make sure the batteries are charged, you get the tapes, right? Oh, leave the camera back, leave the tapes back. You see how all these things you might be thinking, that ain't the truth a lot. Well, the scriptures said they got to be found faithful. Found faithful in what?
In all things.
In all things. Why are you going to let me be a reader or be a teacher, but I won't listen to you for doing the smallest thing? So of course it would be pizza or the other. We're gonna leave you with something that you can't destroy. There's something that can't be blown up, right? Yeah, a refill. This won't be suicidal. This won't hurt the body, right? I'll let you deal with something like that. That's like, you go into the military and they just give you the red button. Here, you watch this. That's how people think, man. That's how people think in the truth. And they don't understand these concepts of why things are needed. Why we come in and go through the process. Because you got to be found faithful to do this work. Because if not, you have a product of what we have now in this day and age. Disgruntled, disloyal, belligerent, crazy ass niggas out there.
Right.
That's what you have. Go ahead.
Verse 12. Let the deacons be the husbands of one wife, ruling their children and their households well. For they that have used the office of a deacon well purchased to themselves a good degree.
Right. So, y'all get that, right? Just about rank and about position. Then, remember this. Going back to the 12 apostles, the 12 apostles was going to be sat on 12 thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel, right? Come? They were going to be judging the 12 tribes of Israel. That's what they were given. That's their rank in order in this kingdom to come. So we can keep going on with the rank, but I'll jump to the next question. What do we got anything else on there? Go ahead.
They asked, when is Passover and how do I observe it?
Passover is it's going to be on the official date of the Passover is on the 10th, right? The official date of the Passover is on the 10th, right? All right. So that means that day is which be the official date. We're celebrating it on the 16th because that's when everybody can come from out of town, out of state, join together and get together. But the official day is the 10th. And how you celebrate it like the scriptures say, the first day, let's go there real quick. And we've been over this a lot too, but I'll just refresh over it. Just that basic part. Yeah, I was looking for the one. Go, you can read that one. I was looking for the one actually in Exodus, but go ahead, read that. Where are you at?
Leviticus 23.
Go ahead.
And the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocation. Even these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done.
Jump to the Passover 4.
4? Verse 4. These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. In the 14th day of the first month, at even, is the Lord's Passover. And on the 15th day of the same month.
Right. So I know you're thinking, well, the 14th day. The 14th day of the first month, right? Remember, their months are wrong. So we go according to the new moon calendar. So which would be the so-called Jewish calendar. But we don't go according to January. We go according to our first month, which would be when things are renewed. And if you tuned into a lot of our Sabbath readings, you find out, man, that the Most High, He timed everything perfect. Like us coming out of Egypt, it was perfect timing because it represented a deliverance of us, but it also represented the renewal. Then it was the time of year that was perfect. So everything kind of like locked right into place when it came to the Passover. So it would be in the 14th day of the first month, which is coming up, and it's late March, early April. And if you look up the month of Abib, look that up real quick. Look up Abib real quick. Go ahead, read on.
In the 14th day of the first month, at even is the Lord's Passover. Verse 6. And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Lord.
Right. So now you have the first month and 14th day is the Passover. So you eat the lamb that night. You roast the lamb, you cook the lamb in commemoration of the Passover. And I'm hoping you know that part at least. When you go to Exodus, we put the blood of the lamb on the post, and the death angel passed over. Okay, so this was commemorating that. Okay, Israel was covered by that blood. The Egyptians died. Okay, so that's the first month, 14th day, we're supposed to eat the lamb. The 15th day will be unleavened bread, because when we came out of Egypt, we ate unleavened bread. And that's basically it's new bread. It's not mixing old leaven. Okay? Go ahead.
7 days ye must eat unleavened bread.
Right. So the Passover is really one day, but in concurrence, it's like it's 8 days with the unleavened bread. So Passover is literally the first day, but then you got the Feast of Unleavened Bread. It goes 7 days. 7 days. So that's what you're celebrating the rest of the days, the Feast of Unleavened Bread. But remember, when we did this, it was in accordance with us coming out of Egypt. So even though the actual ceremony of eating the lamb is one day, it's still during that 7 days you're remembering the Passover, the Most High delivering us going into Egypt, the Most High being with us in Egypt, of a pillar of fire by day, by night, cloud by day, right? This is all what the Passover represents. Go ahead.
Verse 7. In the first day ye shall have a holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work.
And that's really what a lot of brothers and sisters, coming into Israel, y'all don't understand that the convocation was a big thing for us. Originally, the Passover was in New York. Everybody from every other state went to New York. So I know y'all are saying, well, I'm not out there. Listen, whatever, if you feel you're affiliated, you're supposed to be out here. It's a convocation. That's the 1 year you come together in one place with your brothers and your sisters. So, that's how we did it. That's how important it was to us. But we know some of y'all can't do all that. But you follow the ceremony of the Passover, the eating of the lamb, the unleavened bread, and all those things. But that convocation is important. That word convocation means holy gathering. Go ahead.
Ye shall do no servile work therein.
Right, and really what it was it was about partying. It wasn't. Forget about kick up your shoes, relax your feet. You know what I mean? Party on down. You know what I mean? Y'all know the song. It wasn't about work. It was about us getting together and eating and having a good time. So It was no work was supposed to be done. You know, it's like the siestas, the fiestas. Yeah. When you Issachar do that, they put everything down. And they're like, no work. They're like, no, we off. And they go have fun and eat. That's what it's supposed to be like. Go ahead.
Verse 8. But ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord 7 days.
Right, we don't do that part because Christ being the ultimate sacrifice. Go from there, go to Deuteronomy 16, verse 1. So we know the offering by fire and the sacrificial law, we don't do that no more. So just follow the lamb. You get your on the first month, 15th day, which would be it would be April 10th. That would be the 15th day. Okay? And once again, how do we calculate this? By the new moons. So that's how they calculate our years. They go according to the new moon, the year, and that's how our year begins. And then all through the year, our high holy day falls on the right days. So don't look at this as like the so-called white man, you know, like, oh, well, January is the first. No, it don't work like that. So read that. Deuteronomy 16:1.
Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 1. Observe the month of Abib.
Right, observe the month of Abib. So what does Abib say?
Abib, the pre-exile or exilic name of the first month of the year.
Right.
After the exile, the name was changed to Nisan.
Right.
It fell about the time of our March and early April.
Our March, early April. See, all these nations gave their time of the year, but listen, the earth was created for our sakes. So it wasn't January. The Greeks came up with that. Why? Because gods, right? They're gods they worship, right? So whether it was the Greeks or the Babylonians, but when we came out of captivity, the month of Abib was called Nisan, okay? And it was when?
It fell on the time of our March and early April.
See, our March and early April. Okay, so that's exactly right around where we're celebrating the Passover, okay? All right, so read 16:1, Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 1. Observe the month of Abib, and keep the Passover unto the Lord thy God.
Mm-hmm.
For in the month of Abib, the Lord thy God brought thee forth out of Egypt by night. Verse 2. Thou shalt therefore sacrifice the Passover unto the Lord thy God.
And the sacrifice of the Passover is us eating it. We get the Passover, we get the lamb, we roast it by fire, and we eat and remember. It says you come with your loins girded, and that's why a lot of people don't understand that too. Why we get the garments, why we make brand new garments. Because when we came out of Egypt, we came out with the best. We didn't come out broke. The word that's used, it said we borrowed, but they weren't getting that back. Nah, we came out with gold, jewels, right? So much gold that's what these niggas built the calf with. Right? So we had, and that's what the representation of us coming out with our coming out girded, coming out with the best, because we went out in haste. So that's what the garments and all those things, and y'all sisters getting together, doing the garments, that's what it represents. There's a whole thing. That's why when you don't, and you're not part of a body, you don't understand what it really is. You know what I mean? Because you're just like, what? I'm going to get my lamb and eat at home and I'm going to do what I do. It wasn't about that. Right. It was about us getting together as a nation and getting the hell out of Egypt. So that's what this high holy day represented. Go ahead.
Of the flocks and of the herd, in the place which the Lord shall choose to place his name there. Verse 3. Thou shalt eat no leavened bread with it. 7 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread therewith, even the bread of affliction. For thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt in haste. that thou mayest remember the day when thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt, all the days of thy life. Verse 4. And there shall be no leavened bread seen with thee in all thy coasts 7 days.
Right.
Neither shall there anything of the flesh, which thou sacrificest the first day at evening.
Right. So basically, we weren't supposed to take leftovers. We were supposed to eat it, and that's it. Okay. So that's the Passover. Okay. Deuteronomy 16, and then you're gonna go back to Leviticus. That's in Exodus also.
12.
Exodus what?
12, right?
12.
Yeah, see?
What is that in
Yeah, that was Exodus 12.
Exodus 12? Okay. All right. So hopefully that helps you with that question. What's the next one, sister?
They asked, have you brothers done a course on the difference between the sons of God, angels, and Satan's angels, and the sons of God, Israel?
We've done that. It's just, the question is, I think we ain't done that in a while. Yeah, because I know we were talking about it recently. But we'll look for it. Let us look for it, and then we'll send you the link. Because we've done it. It's just going through our channel and getting it. So we can get that to you. That's not a problem. All right, what's the next one?
Can you explain Galatians chapter 2, verses 16, and Galatians chapter 3, verse 13, please?
Galatians 2, verse what?
16
Galatians 2, verse 16.
and 3 and 13. These scriptures are quoted when the "we are no longer under the law" is stated.
Yeah. Galatians 2 and 16, read it.
Galatians chapter 2, verse 16.
Uh-huh.
Knowing that a man is not justified by the works of the law, but by the faith of Yahushua, even we have believed in Yahushua, that we might be justified by the faith of Christ, and not by the works of the law. For by the works of the law shall no flesh be justified.
Mm-hmm. Very good. And what was the other one?
Galatians chapter 3, verse 13.
Galatians chapter 3, verse 13. Yahushua has redeemed us from the curse of the law, being made a curse for us. For it is written, cursed is everyone that hangeth on a tree.
Well, you answered the question right there. Galatians 3:13 is showing you Christ has redeemed us from the curse of the law. You're like, if they pull that one on you, then you got to just read it. It's telling you. The curse of the law was what?
The death.
The death of the law.
Definitely.
Yeah, the death. If you break one law, you're supposed to be put to death. You break one law, you break them all. So Christ died from us. He delivered us from the death of the law. Now when you commit adultery, nobody pulls you out and stones you to death. Lightning doesn't strike you. When you murder somebody, you look around, you look here, you look there, you probably think you're going to get away with it. And you will get away with it for a while until that spirit comes back and punishes you. So, otherwise, Christ has redeemed us from that punishment of the law, being made a curse for us, for it is written, cursed is everyone that hangeth on a tree. Okay, so jump back to Galatians 2, verse 16.
Galatians chapter 2 and verse 16.
Uh-huh.
Knowing that a man is not justified by the works of the law.
Because the truth is this. We're not justified by the works of the law. Why?
Because it was carnal.
Because no. Because we were carnal minded. And we didn't understand the spirituality of the law. Right? So we can't be justified by the works of the law. What's the other reason? Why you can't be justified by the works of the law? Why?
Because if you fail at one point, you fail at all points.
Because you fell at one, you fell them all. Why else? What?
Your heart wasn't in. Your heart
No,
wasn't in.
no. Don't go there. Why is it that we can't be justified by the law? Because then that would do what?
What you said.
Good.
That means we wouldn't need to be saved.
We would need Christ.
That's right. We got a boy.
Right. Christ wouldn't have to come and die for us. Right? But why did Christ have to come die for us? Huh?
Ultimate sacrifice.
We
Because we didn't keep the law.
Oh, come.
Because we break one, we what?
break
Break
them
them
all.
all.
Right. You understand that?
Gone.
Okay, so the word is true. Verse 16, read it again.
Verse 16, knowing that a man is not justified by the works of the law.
All right, you're not justified, and I gotta find that one, because we keep quoting it. Do you break one, you break them all? Find that for me. While we get that, read on. Go ahead.
But by the faith of Yahushua,
But by what?
the faith of Yahushua,
Because now we have to look at Christ as the example. We have to look at him as the standard. Well, you got it, sis?
Yes, James 2:10-13.
Yeah, I had it. Yeah, I had it. James, go to James 2 and 10 real quick.
James chapter 2, verse 10. For whosoever shall keep the whole law and yet offend in one point, he is guilty of all.
Right, so this is why you cannot be justified by the law. It was set up that way. It was set up that way because we were carnal-minded. We didn't comprehend what was supposed to be going on with the law. What was supposed to happen when I learned about adultery? Why as an Hebrew Israelite don't I commit adultery?
Sin.
No, that's why they did it in the past. See, that's why they couldn't be justified by the law, because exactly what you said. Because it's a sin. It's a commandment. And it says not to do it. But as a Hebrew Israelite, why do I not commit adultery, sis?
You wouldn't love your brother.
You wouldn't want that done to you.
Oh, come.
So that's what they never got. We never got that. We just did it because that's what the commandment says. All right? But it was supposed to go beyond that. We never learned that. You understand? Because we were carnal-minded. And we'll go there. But we're understanding this. You break one law, you break them all. So, no, we can't be justified by the law. You know what that means? That means that when Christ comes back, he's not gonna pull the law out and say, okay, all right, you did this one, you did that one, you did that one, you did that one, but you messed up here. There's a problem here. We can't let you into the kingdom. Because if we were going to do it off of the checklist, then we wouldn't need Christ. We wouldn't have to have him come down and die for us.
Right.
You understand that?
Gone.
So that's what is not going to happen. But what is going to happen is he's going to say, okay, you follow the laws, but you fell short here and there. But I'm looking at your spirit. I'm looking at your sincerity. I'm looking at really what was in your heart. And what was really in your heart is to keep the laws. That's why you kept fighting. That's why you kept doing them. That's why you kept getting up and going into the law, striving for the truth unto death. What?
Now, I was going to throw a precept in that, but
We're going to go there. I'm going to throw all the precepts. I'm just saying,
like, even if we already had that in us, it would be a better world out
Right, true. All right, let's go on. Read on.
But by the faith of Yahushua, even we have believed in Yahushua, that we might be justified by the faith of Christ.
Right, because now we have to be justified by him. So when the man came up to him and he said, listen, I have followed the law from my youth up. He said, okay, good. Now go sell everything you have and come follow me. What was that showing us? That I wasn't going to let the law be your only justification. You were going to have to move past the law. Having the law, but move past the law. You understand that? And that's where we didn't get. Go ahead.
And that we might be justified by the faith of Christ, and not by the works of the law. For by the works of the law shall no flesh be justified.
Well, we know why. Because according to James 2 verse 10, that when you break one, you break them all. Right? Right. So, we know, now that we understand what he's saying, is he saying not to keep the law? Go back to Romans. Go to Romans. Go to Romans 3, verse 31.
Romans chapter 3, verse 31.
Mm-hmm.
Do we then make void the law through faith? God forbid. Yeah, we establish the law.
Right. Read it again. You read it correct.
Romans chapter 4, verse 31. Do we then make void the law through faith? God forbid.
So that's straight. You see where you have to know all the Bible. I'm going to use the words I used the other day. You would literally have to erase out Romans 3:31, Romans 6 verse 15, because he's giving you the understanding that the law is not done away with. That means that you don't understand Galatians. He's not saying that not to keep the law. He's just telling you, by the law could no flesh be justified. Why? Because we break one, you break them all. But he came and he reminded us in Romans 3:31, but do we make void the law? Do we just say, you know what, the law is not needed? God forbid. It says we establish the law. So this is where you know how these so-called Christians, first of all, they don't know their Bible and they don't read these scriptures. We don't make void the law, we establish the law through faith. Even though we don't eat pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, right? We know in here that you can get on a bus and there be a person on the period, and that makes me defiled. That makes me breaking the law. But just because I might be defiled in that way, now I go get a piece of pork, or I go become a sodomite, and just live that life? That's what Paul's showing us here. He said, do we make void the law because we're going to fall short? No, we establish, we get better. Because that's what Christ is going to look at. He's going to look at your sincerity. Because he already knows that if you break one, you break them all. But there's a difference between a brother or sister wickedly breaking laws and being a demon, and there's the difference between a person that's young and that doesn't know, and that's trying, right? You got that mischievous little evil kid that's being a demon, but then you got the one that's just slow and trying. Well, I want to do right. The Most High sees what type of children we are. Paul is reminding us, we don't make void the law. We establish it. Now go to Romans. That's why, you can read Romans 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to 7. We're not going to do that. But go to Romans 3, verse 1.
Romans chapter 3 and verse 1.
What
advantage it hath the Jew? Or what profit is there of circumcision?
Go ahead.
Much every way.
Go ahead.
Chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of God.
Yeah, so what are you talking about? Our duty is to follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. Now, I'm not going to do it now, but when you get a chance, you're going to read through the 3rd chapter, and then you're going to understand Why in the 31st verse, Paul said, do we make void the law through faith? God forbid. Because he's going to give you the understanding of Galatians and showing you what he really means. He's going to show us, jump to verse 20.
Verse 20.
Go ahead.
Therefore, by the deeds of the law, there shall no flesh be justified in his sight.
Go ahead.
For by the law is the knowledge of sin.
For by the what?
For by the law is the knowledge of sin.
So you cannot do away with the law. So this is what Paul was telling us. The law has to be there. Because the law is the knowledge of sin. When you come from the world, you come in the truth, right? And you're an animal, you're a beast, you're without the law, right?
Right.
Then you learn what? Don't eat pork.
Right.
Don't be a faggot. Don't do drugs.
Don't get tattoos.
Don't get tattoos. Right? Now you learn what it is or what not to do.
God.
So with the law, you need the law. The law is the knowledge of sin. Give me Matthew 5:17 and read on. Go ahead.
Con. Verse 21.
Go ahead.
But now the righteousness of God without the law is manifested.
Right. Go ahead.
Being witnessed by the law of the prophets.
Right. See, there is a righteousness without the technicality of the law. What is that? Did Abraham have the law?
On the inside.
Kyle, but answer the first question. Let's give them what they want first.
Con.
Abraham didn't have the law, but he did, right? He performed the law.
God.
So through our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they didn't have the law. They didn't have Moses standing there like, listen, you need to be doing this. But they knew how to sacrifice.
God.
They knew what to sacrifice.
Circumcision.
They knew circumcision.
What foods to eat.
What foods to eat. They knew the law.
God.
You see that? So it was in them. So the law was never, and is never going to be done away with. The thing is that what the law was doing to us, we didn't understand. It wasn't just, the law wasn't there just to say, okay, you messed up, bring him out, kill him. And that's what it was doing. Am I going too fast? I'm trying to make it very basic. The law was killing you, and it wasn't supposed to be doing that. It was supposed to be bringing you to life.
Right.
But we can see that the law works, right? Because our forefathers were doing it before Moses.
God.
Y'all see that?
Con.
So read Matthew 5:17 real quick.
Matthew chapter 5 and verse 17.
Uh-huh.
Think not that I have come to destroy the law
Uh-huh.
or the prophets.
Go ahead.
I have come not to destroy, but to fulfill.
Right. So Christ is reestablishing the law and done away with. So, no, they got it wrong again. The Christianity, because they don't read the whole Bible, and they try to erase parts and verses they want to erase. Paul just said we don't make void the law. Christ just said we don't do away with the law. That means you lack understanding of Galatians 6, wherever we were. What was it? 6 and what?
It's 2, Galatians 2 and 16, and Galatians 3 and 13.
Yeah, they lack understanding of those verses. Paul's not giving you the license to sin. He's not giving you that. You got a question? All right, one more. Go to Galatians 6, verse 15.
God.
Go to Galatians 6, verse 15, and then we'll go to Galatians. I'm sorry. Romans 6, verse 15.
God.
Then we'll jump to Romans 7.
Right.
Go ahead.
Romans, well, you got it?
You got it? 6:15?
Yeah, Romans 6, verse 15.
God.
Colossians.
Romans chapter 6 and verse 15.
Go ahead.
What then? Shall we sin because we are not under the law,
Uh-huh.
but under grace?
But what are we not under the law of? What part of the law are we not under? Death. The death of the law. That's why I said the first scripture, the second scripture they put, was it 2 and 13? What's that?
The first one was
3 and 13, where it says that the curse of the law, that's what he did away with, the death of the law.
God.
But the morality of the law, the righteousness of the law, the goodness of the law,
God.
They're stupid. Tell a Christian, so y'all can go commit murder now? And it's okay with God, right? No, well, why? Because the law says, thou shalt not murder. Right? Thou shalt not kill. Oh, how about they say, oh, that's kind of crazy. Well, I could be a homosexual now? You see? You got to go there with them and show them. No, the law said, Paul came back in Romans and said that was contrary to nature.
Contrary.
So read 6:15, read it again.
6:15. What then? Question mark. Shall we sin? Because we are not under the law.
Go ahead.
But under grace.
Go ahead.
God forbid.
So we knocked out, oh, I got faith, so I don't need the law. We knocked that one out. You still got to perform the law with faith. We knocked out, oh, I got grace, I don't need the law. He said we need the law still.
Done.
Now jump to verse 1. That's why I said, listen, if you read Romans 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, straight through, and understand what you're reading, you'll understand what Paul was telling us. Paul's not giving us the license to sin, and Paul's not going against what Christ said. He came not to destroy the law of the prophets.
No.
Go ahead, read.
Romans chapter 6 and verse 1.
Go ahead.
What shall we say then? Question mark. Shall we continue in sin?
Uh-huh.
That grace may abound?
Read.
God forbid.
What?
God forbid.
Because they'll run with that one. Well, I got grace. Well, what does that mean? So you can be a faggot, a killer, a murderer, a drug dealer?
God forbid.
Because really, that's what they're saying. What they're saying is this. I got grace. I have a grace ticket. And, well, when I shoot somebody in the face, here's my grace ticket. It says on there, Christ died for me and he purged me for all my sins. So this is my get out of jail free card. Yeah, right. No, it don't work like that. You're supposed to still keep the law even though you got grace. Go ahead.
God forbid.
Uh-huh.
How shall we that are dead to sin
Read.
live any longer therein?
Right. If you're claiming you're under the grace, then you're dead to sin. If you're saying you're washed with the blood of Christ, then you're following what Christ followed, which was the Spirit, which was the law. Watch, read.
Verse 3.
Uh-huh.
Know ye not that so many of us, as were baptized into Yahushua, were baptized into his death?
So if you're saying I'm under Christ, then you died with Christ. That old man has to die. You can't say, oh, I'm with Jesus, but I'm still a nigga. I'm still a drug dealer, killer, murderer, right? We just talking about this, about being an Israelite, right?
All right.
You have to die. That old man has to die. Christ died, you gotta die. That old man has to die. Go ahead.
I was going to say you can't put new wine in an old bottle.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Right.
Come.
Go ahead.
Verse 4. Therefore, we are buried with him by baptism into death.
Read.
And like as Christ was risen up from the dead by the glory of the Father, even so we also shall walk in newness of life.
You see that? Putting off the old man, putting on the new man, which is renewed in the spirit. So there's no way the law can ever be done away with. Because even the Bible tells you in Hebrews, the law was going to be written in our inward parts. But before we go there, go to Romans 7, verse 7. So what was the law for?
Chapter 7 and verse 7.
Romans 7 and 7. What was the law for? Read.
What shall we say then? Question mark. Is the law sin?
No, read 6.
Verse 6. Chapter 7 and verse 6.
But
now we are delivered from the law.
See, we're delivered from what part of the law? The death. We're delivered from the unspiritual and carnal mind of the law. Because that's the problem with our people. We went at this the wrong way, carnal-minded. Your statement was a perfect display of how we looked at the law. Well, why do you don't commit adultery? Because the Bible says not to. It's beyond that now. I don't commit adultery because if I committed adultery, would I want to walk in my house and my woman getting banged by some dude? No. So it's beyond just the law. It's because I know I don't want to do my brother like that because I wouldn't want to be done like that. Right? You see that? Go ahead.
That being dead wherein
Right?
we were held,
Read.
that we should serve in newness of spirit.
In newness of what?
Of spirit.
Read.
And not in oldness of the letter.
Yeah, and not in the oldness of the letter. But he's going to explain it. Read.
What shall we say then? Is the law sin?
Yeah. So, see, the law, we don't need the law. The law is not necessary. Read.
God forbid.
God forbid. Read.
Man, I had not known sin, but by the law.
Right. You would not know what to do righteous unless you've been given the law. Go ahead.
For I had not known lust, except the law hath said, thou shalt not covet.
Read.
Verse 8. But sin, taking occasion by the commandment, wrought in me all manner of concupiscence.
So now that the law comes, now you realize that all the stuff in your life and all the filth you were doing was wrong. The thoughts is wrong. Read.
For without the law, sin was dead. For I was alive without the law once.
Right. Now, what he's saying is that you were living, but you were dead.
Right.
Yeah, you were living, breathing, but you were dead to sin. You were living a living, walking vessel of negative and evil and wickedness. Go ahead.
But when the commandment came, sin revived.
Right, but when the law came,
sin revived. And I died.
Then you realize what? I was wicked. I was a sinner. I was out of the way of the Most High. Go ahead.
Verse 10. And the commandment, which was ordained to life.
The commandment was what?
Which was ordained to life.
And the commandment was what?
Ordained to life.
So this is why Christ had to come. Because the commandment that was ordained to life, go ahead.
I found to be death.
That's what we were doing. You was brought out, you was stoned, you was killed. It was no mercy. That's not what the law was for. It was that way because we were carnal minded. He's going to show us. Go ahead.
Verse 11. For sin, taking occasion by the commandment, deceived me. And by it slew me.
Read.
Wherefore the law is holy.
The what?
The law is holy.
The law is holy. That's why Christ said, I came not to destroy the law or the prophets. The law is holy. It's never going to be done away with. That's like saying the white man's going to all of a sudden take red lights down. No red lights. That's stupidity, right? That's chaos. All stop signs, no more. You know what? All street lines, we're going to do away with those. Yeah, do it. Yeah, you drive like this is Mexico. You're gonna drive like this is Mexico. Do they have lines in Mexico? No. They don't have none of that. They don't follow it? Yeah, exactly. Or California. Nah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Verse 12.
Uh-huh.
Wherefore the law is holy,
Uh-huh.
and the commandment holy,
Go ahead.
and just,
Read.
and good.
Read.
Verse 13. Was then that which is good made that unto me?
Then that's the question. That's the question what we're learning about the law. So why was it made? Why was the law given if it was there? If I was just dying? That's the question. The answer. He's going to give it all in one. Go ahead.
God forbid.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't there just to say, okay, watch him do it. The Most High and the angels was like, watch, he's gonna go away with her, and that he knows that. Like they were just like playing dice up in the kingdom and like, watch, I'm waiting for him to go ahead. Oh, we got him. Go kill this nigga. No, it wasn't meant for that. It was meant to bring you life, not to kill you. Go ahead.
God forbid. But sin, that it might appear sin.
Yeah, that you know that this is wrong. Like the scriptures say that you put a difference between good and evil. Like when the law is set us aside from the world. When you go out there, you put the blunt down, the dope down, the drugs down. It's separate you from them.
God.
No more orgies, right? No more 40 bottles. No more bats and drills. That separates you from them, right?
Right.
That's what the law did. That can never be done away with. That's morality. That's spirituality. Go ahead.
Working death in me
Right?
by that which is good.
Yeah, but what was the death? What was dying? Two things were dying. You were realizing the old man is dying. Right? And that if you keep continuing in that way, what? You be dead.
Right.
You continue with murdering, drugs, killing, hoeing, stripping, tossing your brother babies in microwaves.
Right.
It's death, right? So you needed some moral standards. Go ahead.
That sin, by commandment, might become exceeding sinful.
That's what the law is there for. That sin might become exceeding sinful. That's ugly. Now we come into the truth and we realize, I don't want to be that guy no more. You know what I mean? I don't want to be that nigga in the alley. I'm your mama, I'm your daddy, I'm that nigga, I'm your pusher. Hey, what up? That's some weed. That's kind of thing, right? Yeah, I don't want to be that. Why? Because when I'm learning that when I'm your mom, you your dad, I'm your pusher. That was killing us. Right?
Right.
Now it separates us. The law separates us from that. Go ahead.
Verse 14.
Uh-huh.
For we know that the law is spiritual.
This is what? Read it again.
For we know that the law is spiritual.
Yeah, talk about we know what they do. You know why they want to use that? Because they want to eat their pork, shrimp, crab, lobster. They want to eat the crawfish. They want to smoke their weed, smoke their cigarettes. They want to drink themselves belligerently. They want to pop pills to make it to the next day. Everything we did in the world, they want to do and believe in Jesus. But they're not spiritual doing that. They're carnal. The law is spiritual. Go ahead.
For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin.
And that's what we're realizing. What the law did is made you see what you were. You're a carnal. You're an animal, man. Like if I left you by yourself, you'd be just like a beast, like animals in the street. That's why what David said.
I was as a beast.
He said, I was as a beast before you. When we don't have the laws, the commandments, the statutes, we're like beasts, man. Wow. You sniffing up what they call the guys in the world? Dogs.
Horn dogs.
Right? What they call the women in the world? Hoes. That's what we are. Dogs and hoes. You're not even humans. You're not even human no more. You're dogs and hoes. What?
Schoon dudes.
Schoon dudes. Okay, you're good. Go ahead, read.
Verse 15. For that which I do, I allow not.
Now he's going to go in and show you the process of the flesh and how the flesh can overcome if you let it rule you. But this is what I'm going to do. We're going to jump right over. That's why I said if you read it all through, jump right to 8th chapter, the first verse.
8, chapter 1.
He just Paul's so cold. If you just read his letters, he was giving you the understanding. Read 8 and 1. Read.
8 and verse 1.
Go ahead.
There is therefore now no condemnation to them which are in Yahushua, who walk not after the flesh.
Yeah, so listen. If you walk after the flesh, you're condemned already. So you're trying to act like I can do all the things of the flesh and believe in Christ. Stop it.
Right.
You're condemned. See, the freedom was for the ones that mess up, I gave you grace. Not the ones that's willing to mess up, wanting to mess up. He came back and said, no murderer, no adulterer, no fornicator, none of these things shall enter into the kingdom of heaven.
God.
Right?
God.
So he's not giving you leeway to wild out. He was giving us mercy and grace when we do make a mistake. I mean, we can go to all the scriptures that tell you there's going to be a judgment day. All for what? There's no laws, right? There's no rules, right? So what is he judging us off according? Well, wait a minute. He's not according to Christianity, right? According to them, he's not judging us. He's going to come back. He's going to give us all kisses and hugs, right? And milk and cookies, and we all going to join together. No. See, when you go with all that, you can see why it all has to lie to you. It all has to lie. There is no judgment day. When in fact there will be. It said the books will be open. It says you'll be judged for every idle word. So where's that? So the Most High is showing us that the laws are still here for a reason. Go ahead, read.
Therefore, Christ Jesus, who walked not after the flesh, but after the Spirit.
Right. See, there's no condemnation to them that walk after the Spirit. But if you're walking after the flesh, you're already condemned. Go ahead.
Verse 2. For the law of the Spirit is of life.
The what?
Is of life.
No, read it from the top.
For the law
of what?
Of the Spirit.
See, the law of the Spirit is what we're learning. We keep the laws in the Spirit. Yeah, we don't eat the pork, the shrimp, the crab, the lobster. Just like we don't murder, we don't kill, we don't commit adultery. Because we're keeping the law in the Spirit. And where we fall short in, and you mix cloths, and you're getting 2 cloths, Christ knows. Don't worry about that.
Right.
When you take a bus or you're poor and you can't kick your wife out when she's on her menstrual cycle and your whole house is unclean, Christ knows. Don't worry about that. That's where the grace is there. But the grace ain't there for somebody saying, "Oh, I got grace. Let me eat this pork. Oh, I got grace. Let me hit this blunt. Oh, I got grace." Right? Jesus saved me, nigga. That's what we're going to walk around doing.
Jesus got my back.
Yeah, Jesus got my back. You know, no, that's not what it's there for. Go ahead.
For the law of life is Spirit of life in Christ Jesus have made me free from the law of sin and death.
Right. That's what we're free now. Why? Because now we're not giving ourselves to the flesh, one, and we're not dying through the sin. Because Christ has delivered us from that. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 3. For what the law could not do, in that it was weak through the flesh, the Most High sending his own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin, condemned sin in the flesh.
Boom. Man, dude, when you read down this whole chapter, like I said, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and he coming to 8, he breaks it all down, makes it all easy for you. You know what he did? He showed us it was possible to beat sin, to beat the flesh. But you had to be in the Spirit. You had to put the Most High first. You had to put the Holy Spirit first. You see that? So no excuse. What?
I was gonna ask, is that what it means to where it says greater he that is within you than he that's in the world?
Yeah, yes sir, yes sir. I'm gonna show y'all one more. This is the gutter right here. This is where you hit it from the loins on up and you rip it. Go to Hebrews.
Hebrews.
Hebrews. Check this out, check this out. Yes, sir. This is gonna, man, God.
Speak on it. Speak on it. One time.
10-4.
Is it 10-4? Sword punishment?
Oh, no.
Hold on, let me find it real quick.
Second half of 9 seconds.
Hold on. Bear with me.
Verse, you want verse 11? 10 and 11.
Is it?
Same sacrifice which could never take away sin.
No. Hold on. Y'all gonna start y'all thing. Yeah, y'all start saying all the wrong ones. All right, go to Hebrews. Hebrews 10 and 26.
Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 26. Got it? All right. For if we sin willfully,
If we what?
if we sin willfully,
This is what the Spirit was supposed to show us. If we sin willfully, go ahead.
after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins.
Well, what is sin?
Transgression of the law.
There you go. Sin is transgression of the law, right? So check this out. Watch how he rips these cats, man. If we sin willfully after we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins. 27, go ahead.
But a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery
indignation. Go ahead.
which shall devour the adversary.
Now listen to this. Read.
He that despised Moses' law died without mercy.
Now, when you have the law and the punishment of the law, you die without mercy. That's why Christ had to come. He had to come because you were given the law, you were caught stealing, you probably get your hand chopped the hell off. Right? You were caught in adultery, you see what they try to do, bring her out, stone her. Right? You die without mercy. Read on.
Under 2 or 3 witnesses.
Read.
Verse 29. Of how much sore punishment suppose ye?
Listen, how much sore punishment? That's how you gotta read it. Sore punishment suppose ye. Go ahead.
Of how much sore punishment suppose ye? Shall he be brought? How much? So
you can't mess it up.
Right. Shall he be thought worthy who hath trodden under the foot of the Son of the Most High?
Yeah, how much more worthy for them that trample on Christ? So these people walking around trying to trample on the grace of Christ, you're insane. Yeah, there's no death because Christ did away with that. Well, you're going to be punished for your actions. Go ahead. Come on.
Hath counted the blood of the covenant, wherewith he was sacrificed, an holy thing.
And listen, it says the blood of the covenant wherewith he was sanctified, an unholy thing. That means that they disobey the law, right? But then they take Christ, his grace, and they just throw that out like it ain't nothing. They throw his blood like it ain't nothing. Why? Because according to them, you don't have to do nothing. All you have to do is just sit around and use his blood as you will. You know, oh, I messed up here. Here's blood, Christ. I got Christ's blood. Read on.
And hath done despite unto the Spirit of grace.
They do what?
Spite on the Spirit of grace.
You do despite unto the Spirit of grace. Read.
For we know them that have said, vengeance belongeth unto me.
Yeah, he said, think about it. You died under Moses. Well, you know, with no mercy, 2 or 3 witnesses. How much more punishment you think for you to trample on the blood of Christ? That's why you got to be careful. That Christ, the Most High, never did away with the law. The grace was to give you extra chances for you to give it up. For you to say, no, I don't want to be about that life. I don't want to live that life. Go ahead.
For I will recompense, saith the Lord. And again, the Lord shall judge his people.
Yeah, the Most High said, for vengeance is his. Why is he saying that? To remind you, you're going to be paid for what you do. Go ahead.
Verse 31. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God.
Yeah, so listen, you're not falling in the hands of the 2 or 3 witnesses? Guess who you fall in the hands of? The Most High. That's why there's no way we're supposed to trample on the grace of Christ, his blood, by continuing in sin, by continuing doing the works of the flesh. The works of the flesh are manifest. The law told us what they are. Right? Okay, so I mean, yeah, I can, when they go into this law thing, I love it. I can keep going with it, but that's it on that. If y'all got it, you got another?
No, just
You sure?
Somebody asked a question regarding to the law?
Yeah, somebody, well, yeah. We got other questions?
Yes.
Anything fast? If not, they can wait till Wednesday.
They asked if identical twins share the same soul since they came from the same seed.
No. No, because when you deal with those seeds, first of all, the sperm, and we always go over this, and I'm going to repeat what I always go over. When a man, and if you know a little science, when a man's sperm goes, is it just one?
thousands.
It's thousands of sperms. So 2 might take that route, and that's what the Most High works with. He works with those 2 sperm cells. So, yeah. Next.
So it's written that each tribe had a mark to identify them. I'm trying to research what are the marks of each tribe. Maybe the 12 stones of the tribes might give us a clue.
Yeah, we'll talk about that with next class because we have to go into. Yeah, if you want to deal with the stones, that's really what it is because there was no specific mark besides the curses that was really on us. It wasn't like a literal mark, like when you look at the mark of Cain. It wasn't really no mark like that. So, well, maybe we can talk about that next class. Wednesday's next class, 7 o'clock, brothers and sisters. Listen, I'm gonna repeat it again and again till Passover. Passover is coming up. Join us. Purim is coming up on the 9th and the 10th. We're not gonna have class Friday night. We will have class that Sabbath morning, but we won't have class Sabbath night because we're going to be celebrating Purim. We're going to be here probably getting together and eating and enjoying each other, brotherhood, and commemorating the High Holy Day. So if you don't see us online, that's what we're doing. Okay, if you're local, come join us. All right. So otherwise, brothers and sisters, we thank y'all for tuning in. Say shalom, y'all.